At 4 p.m. on 13th April, Dyer marched out with his special party. The special party consisted of the men of the frontier force in front, followed by the Gurkhas, then 4 vehicles at the back with Dyer, Briggs and Morgan and Dyer's 2 bodyguards, the first armoured car, Rahil and Plomer, the only civil authorities, and finally the second armoured car. Welcome to Lost Stories, where we uncover the history that was never taught to us. The Jallianwala Bagh, or the Garden of Jallian, was a 200-yard long and about 100-yard wide open space. The Bagh was mostly barren, lower than ground level, and surrounded by the backs of houses and large walls. There were 3 trees, with a samadhi under the largest one, bang opposite the main entrance. The Bagh had 5 small entrances, a main entrance to the north, 2 small gates and also a door leading into an alley to the west, and behind the well was a large door that opened to Nevi Gully to the east. Many people were present at the Jallianwala Bagh that day, but not all of them were attending the meeting. Some had returned from the cattle fair that had abruptly ended due to the 2 p.m. curfew, and many were just there. Most of the people present had no idea about the curfew. At the Bagh, Hansraj was animatedly giving a speech on how Indians should stand against the Rowlatt Act and the wrongful firing on the 10th. There were other speakers present as well, like Dr. Gurbakhsh Rai and Gopinath. There are mentions that fighter planes were flying overhead. Hansraj calmed the scared crowd, but Moolchand, an eyewitness, claims that he saw some plainclothes policemen sneak out from the crowd as well. This was never investigated by the British. At 5:15 p.m., Dyer marched into the Bagh with his special party. He left the armoured cars behind because the lane was too narrow. He entered through the main gate, which gave him a higher ground compared to the rest of the Bagh. The 40 Gurkhas were stationed outside the Bagh, while the 50 armed infantrymen positioned themselves inside, 25 on the left and 25 on the right. At this point, the 7th speaker, Durgadas, was addressing the crowd. And even though they were surrounded, the Indians gathered over there did not show any aggression or fear. Dyer had imagined a crowd of around 6,000 people, but he was overwhelmed when he saw the size that had gathered. Dyer gave his orders. For the next 5 odd minutes, the roar of shot magazine Lee Enfield muskets firing, .303 Mark 6 bullets, filled the air, drowning the screams of innocent Indians trying to escape death. When chaos struck, Dyer specifically asked his infantry to concentrate the shooting on high-density areas. He even instructed the Gorkhas to sit down and get the Indians hugging the ground. Note that the bullets were built for a range of 3,000 yards. Jallianwala Bagh was barely 200. Dyer had planned the shooting and wanted it to be as effective as possible. The firing ended as abruptly as it started. The 40 Khukri-armed Gorkhas were called to protect the 50 soldiers, as if the unarmed and injured crowd was going to fight back. 300 seconds, 1650 rounds, and between 500 to 1500 innocent Indians dead. Dyer left as swiftly as he entered, without even casting a second glance. For him, Indians did not matter. They had to die. They were to be culled. In the official British reports, the number of casualties was noted as only 379, later revised to 487. Heavy efforts were made to suppress the facts and to stop the news of this culling from reaching other Indians. To this date, it is still unclear how many died, but we have the list from the DC's office of Amritsar. Let us pay homage to the fallen heroes by maintaining silence for them for 30 seconds. Share this video and spread the message of how a British madman acted of his own accord and how the British, as usual, tried to cover it up. And we were taught that this is where the cruelty ended, but there was so much more. Stay tuned for the concluding episode, The Aftermath. A special shout out to our hospitality partner, Ranjit Swasa, a Royal Heritage Experience in Amritsar. Also, a special thanks to First Post for featuring us and Keto.org for giving us support. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more interesting tales from Indian history. You can read more about lost stories on our website www.beneaththeink.com as well as on Facebook and Instagram.